Hey there and welcome back to Sims Sunday. My name is Pete, and for those of you who are in episode 28 still unfamiliar, this is the series where we try to complete The Sims 3. And we will jump right into it. We have about 1.5 hours left that we can use for hacking, and since Ayesha has the day off, we can make a bit of money doing so, and it also has a chance to break our computer. That's a few good reasons to wake Ayesha up early and get her on that. Shortly after, we also see a wish pop up. Ayesha now wants to make 100 simoleons from hacking. However, we currently have no room to promise that wish, and part responsible is also this wish, which shows our current net worth at 255,000 simoleons. And that is actually quite a bit more than the 100,000 needed for the living in the lap of luxury lifetime wish, so I think at this point we can very unceremoniously mark that off as completed as well. And with 8 of 32, that would now be 1/4 of all lifetime wishes completed. And just on time, at 7 o'clock, Ayesha finishes hacking. We earned the astonishing amount of 88 simoleons, and Ayesha can now prioritize getting rid of that one negative moodlet and clean up the kitchen area. While she's on it, she can also take out the trash. Maybe we're lucky and the trash compactor breaks. Well, doesn't look like it, but that reminds me, that recycling bin we purchased a few episodes ago, that has served absolutely no purpose so far, and I think we can safely sell that again and make some room. And after selling, let's also buy something, and in this case that would be a birthday cake. We have done everything we can with Patrick, and it is now time for him to become a child. So without any further ado, let's have a birthday party. Alright, Patrick has aged up well to a child, that is. That fulfills a wish for both Pete and Ayesha, and especially with Ayesha we can use the lifetime happiness points, and we can now also choose another trait for Patrick, and for him I have planned not only to pursue the cooking career, but also to complete the cooking, gardening and fishing skills, which is why we go with Angler. And then, while everybody's having cake, Ayesha can work from home, we definitely need the money, and Pete can take a shower. Paul and Patrick will feast on the birthday cake. While Pete is taking care of the cleanup, Patrick will now work the oven. Not the real one, just a child version, but we can actually increase his cooking skill up to level 3 doing so, and that should give us a nice advantage towards the cooking career later. So we will now produce muffins galore, which interestingly enough is actually the first real meal this household has seen, apart from the occasional birthday cake. So yeah, we're moving up in the world. Paul has taken a shower and Pete can now grab the mail. We should get a few cut gems in here. Yep, here they are, so let's put them on display. And we are literally in buy mode today. The next item we get is a second computer. That also has many reasons. For one, both Pete and Ayesha work regularly from home, which could potentially conflict with Paul being an aspiring author down the line. And the cheap computer should also have a higher chance of breaking, which would be quite useful for Pete to finally complete the handiness skill. And speaking of Pete, he can now immediately start working on that computer and get his job performance up. And of course also earn us some money. Meanwhile, Paul has finished his shower and will now go and paint outside. Alright, while we watch Patrick, 423 simoleons pop up. That shows us that Ayesha has finished her first 2 hours of working from home, and we can immediately get her started on the next 2. And then just shortly after, Patrick gets his first skill point in the cooking skill. Congratulations, you still have a long way to go. Now that Patrick has aged up to a child, we should also provide him with a place to sleep, and for that purpose we can stretch out Paul's room in the back, make it align with the outer wall of the other room, and then move over the bed slightly so that 2 people can sleep in there. However, those 2 will likely not be Paul and Patrick, because the relationship between the 2 is simply not good enough at this point. We will obviously have to work on that. Okay, once again, while watching Patrick, a sum of money appears on screen. Pete has worked 2 hours from home, and he will also begin another round. Meanwhile, Patrick has produced his first burnt muffin, so he can quickly throw that away and start making some more. Outside, Paul has completed his painting. Remember, he has the wish to decorate the home with 15 of those, so we can drag that on the wall inside. Meanwhile, Ayesha finishes working from home for the second time. Paul will begin another painting, and Ayesha will go to sleep. Yes, very unusual time to do so, but remember we got her up early, but we want her to be well rested once the evening comes, so that she can spend all night hacking. Meanwhile, Patrick grabs the second cooking skill point. Then we can see Pete has finished working from home again. He will now also go to sleep in the middle of the day. He had to get up early for Patrick's birthday. And then after a bit of cleanup, Patrick himself will also go to bed. For him, that is because he was on a completely screwed up sleep schedule, dating back to his days as a toddler. Once again, we can make a purchase, this time a toilet for Patrick. He doesn't have steel bladder yet, and I don't want him to head over to the gym or the pool every time he has to pee. And then we switch over to Paul, who has finished another painting. Once again, we can hang that up on the wall and immediately queue up the next one. Remember, we need to paint 30 paintings for the Brushmaster challenge, which will result in us painting a lot faster, and so the first 30 will be small paintings, so we can get there as quickly as possible. Just a few moments after he went to bed, we can wake Patrick back up. This was just to get him back on track in his sleep rhythm, and we can quickly overhaul the outfit. Alright, so here we are. Patrick loves the outdoors and will become cook, fisherman and gardener. Therefore, I have equipped him with shorts and sandals, just to showcase that he is a bit more of an outdoorsy person. Also, the color green will be very prominent, as you can see here with his formal outfit. His sleepwear is a very light green pajama, and the athletic outfit that we probably will never see also has green shoes. And last but not least, the outfit I'm most proud of, green swimming trunks and goggles. Those looked kind of like they could be used underwater, and I think Patrick will be that kind of child that would also dive down in the lake and see what's on the bottom. So yeah, swimming goggles it is. And just a few moments later, after Patrick has relieved his bladder, we will once again do a slight overhaul. Yeah, I have decided to go with this haircut. The rest of the family looks very similar to each other, and a bit of variation is always nice. We don't want him to look exactly like his brother. And still in his pajamas, Patrick can now get back to cooking. And then already on his first day as a child, Patrick improves his cooking skill to level 3. That's all we can do for him in this regard, at least for now. So we can now send him fishing. Before we can talk more about that, however, Paul improves his painting skill. That fulfills a wish, gives him 1000 lifetime happiness points, and the painting is now finished as well. So let's hang that up on the wall again and yeah, go for another one. Then we can switch over to Patrick. Luckily, the small lake is right across the street and he will now fish until he reaches level 1 in that skill. That should go rather fast, but his curfew is also around the corner, so I don't have too many plans with him today. Back at home, Ayesha is awake and well rested again, and she will now sit down in front of the computer. We can't hack just yet, but we can use the overclock option thanks to her being a computer whiz, which has a chance to apply a random upgrade or break the computer. I'd be fine with either one of those. Okay, so I'm not quite sure whether or not this had an effect, and quite frankly at this point I don't really care. Let's hack. And we can see Pete has also gotten up, he is well rested as well, and he will use the other computer now to work from home. We need about 5,000 simoleons more to be able to buy another venue. That is one of the big wishes that both Pete and Ayesha have, and especially for Ayesha we desperately need more lifetime happiness points. Over at the lake, Patrick learns the fishing skill, completes a wish as well, and can now head home and take a shower. Alright, shower completed, Patrick will now grab a bite to eat, and just a few moments later Paul finishes another painting. For a change, he will not immediately do another one. We can hang this up on the wall, but Paul will grab something to eat now. Patrick finishes his muffin, and just at that moment Pete finishes his work from home, and while a well-rested Pete can go for another round, Patrick will need to go to sleep. Paul can then do the cleanup. I still have hopes that the dishwasher breaks again. However, that seems not to be the case, so let's go for another painting. Okay, work from home round 2 done for Pete. He is getting a bit stressed, so we will switch to computer games for the moment. And that should be enough. Back to work. Okay, Paul finishes painting number 25, and once again we will place this inside, however Paul will now go to bed. And I think this is a good point to make a cut. Ayesha is still busy hacking, Pete can continue to work from home, and both Patrick and Paul are asleep. And yes, this episode is a bit shorter than usual, but putting another full day in here would probably make it a bit too long. And there's also another reason. As you might have been able to hear, there was quite a bit of popping in the video. That is because I switched the room I record in, and this one still has a considerable echo. So in order to reduce echo, I had to move closer to the microphone, which resulted in more popping. I'll try to play around a bit, both with where I position myself and the microphone, and also with the settings in Audacity, and maybe you can already hear a noticeable difference in the next video. Until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.